Welcome to the Dave Pelz Golf Short Game Scoring School at America's Freshwater Resort, the Homestead in Glen Arbor, Michigan. For the uninitiated, what is the Pelz Golf Scoring School?
Well, we're focusing basically on short game and putting, and through Dave's research, he found that most of our shots are going to be lost in that part of the game. And we all kind of know that in the back of our mind, but what Dave really did was he put some numbers to it. And we know that your ability to chip it closer, pitch it closer, get out of bunkers and putt better, that's what's going to make you score better. And it doesn't make sense to focus on parts of the game that aren't going to really make the biggest improvement that we can right off the bat.
It's one thing to practice that part of your game, but if you're doing it incorrectly, aren't you actually hurting yourself?
Well, you'd probably be better off not ever swinging a golf club if you're not going to try to practice properly. And I think one of the biggest advantages that we have with our students is the time we spend with them working on the game the way they're supposed to work on it. My job really is to lay out what they're supposed to do and then make sure that they're practicing the way they're supposed to practice. And that's why it's very challenging to get the instruction you need out of 1.5 hour worth of work with your pro, even when they're the best pros around. It's very hard to accomplish what you need to accomplish unless you have a little bit of time to spend practicing properly. And if people can leave our class practicing the way they're supposed to, the sky's the limit on what they can really achieve.
Let's break down the stations. We have the bunker board. What are we learning with the bunker board?
The bunker board allows us to get outside the bunker, make our bunker setup, practice our bunker technique, and try to make the same swing that we'd use on the pitch shot function in the sand. And it should function in the sand if you set up properly. Unfortunately, as soon as people get sand all the way around them, they short circuit a little bit because they slip into their old habits that they just can't help but slip into. Our subconscious is a pretty powerful thing, and if we allow ourselves to slip back into old habits, then you're not really making the changes. So the bunker board is basically our training wheels for the bunker to help people get over the fear and the complexity of the setup and then just swing. And being able to do that off of turf really makes a big difference.
I think it helped me out a lot. I think it's going to improve my up and downs as well. Pretty excited about it. I never used a bunker board before, so that was very intriguing there. But I really think that it's going to help with not only my overall technique, but being able to get up and down with not only my sand wedge, but with other clubs as well, including 8, 9 irons, that sort of thing.
Did it give you more confidence?
A lot more confidence, yes. I think that now once I go into the bunker, unfortunately, if that does happen, I will have more confidence on being able to get out, get up and down, and be able to save par.
Next up, wedge target practice. Having a specific goal in mind. That station is all about what?
It's all about making the turn the way you want and finishing where you need to finish the swing. That's what's controlling the bottom of your arc. And if you can finish the swing properly, then you can really start making the refined choices that you need to make. We're setting up that ball in that proper ball position and making sure that the finish is where it's supposed to be. Then from there, it's just a matter of length of swing. And that's a real challenge for the students, is they're used to taking swings generally that are bigger than they need because they're not used to using their body as well as they need to. So once they get their body working the way it's supposed to, then you can start making changes with the length of swing, and then you have a game plan to operate from.
Target wedge practice. And for the mid-80s player, what has this done for your game?
Oh, great deal for getting closer to the pin. Sometimes it's not bad getting distance, but it's been a lot more difficult getting the right azimuth, if you may, and closer to the pin.
What does this do to fuel your enthusiasm for the game?
Well, anything that gives you the confidence to go out and try it again. It's like getting an eagle on the 18th hole. That makes you want to come back and try again.
The short pitch over the bunker, a feared shot for many, many golfers. So that was our next station.
That is exactly why the people have the lob wedges sitting in their closets, not in their golf bag, because they tried to work too much to help the ball up in the air instead of letting the loft of the club do the work. And really, you can let the loft of the club do the work if you set up properly, and then it's just basically as if you're tossing the golf ball onto the green. Unfortunately, the randomness of our students' setups prior to knowing what they're supposed to do has really made it hard for them to get in there and do what they want to do. So having the foundation, what they're supposed to do, and then making sure they set up each and every time, that makes that half hour well worth the time. And then, pitching ought to be fun. That ought to be a shot that ought to be a fun shot.
This is amazing. It's the best thing I could have ever done.
What are you learning?
I am learning to get the ball up in the air. That's a problem for me, especially with chipping and putting and sand traps, is to get a nice loft on the ball. And they're going straight, so it's placement. Your short game is where it's at. So it's going to make a huge difference for my game.
I think chipping might be a lost art. Our final station was the bump and run. Get it on the ground and let it go. And what are they learning in that section?
Well, they're learning that, you can get in a setup position that isn't as comfortable as many of the other shots. That's probably the most challenging setup for the entire students. Getting that ball as far back as we like it and getting that close and getting the club upright. It is a bit of a challenge for students, but what's fun about that shot is there's instant improvement. All it takes is 2 or 3 shots and say, man, this is so much better than what I was doing before.
Of all the stations that you've gone through, which one has grabbed you the most and maybe flicked a light bulb on for you?
Probably this green side chipping, just trying to not over hit the ball and get it close to the pin so you can hopefully single putt. If I could get to the mid 80s, I mean, that would be wonderful. If I could eliminate 6 or 7 strokes per round, that'd be great.
Do you see those coming from the short game
Oh
area?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, you spend a lot of time on the green and near the green, that if you can eliminate 1 or 2 strokes per hole or per round, I mean, that pays off.
My name is Stefan, and I hope to see you up here at the Homestead Resort for the Dave Pelz Scoring Game School. It's about time that you went in and changed your game forever. I hope to see you soon.
Well, we invite all golfers and all vacationers to the Homestead. We're America's freshwater resort. We're surrounded by the Sleeping Bear Dunes National Lakeshore. We feature the Dave Pelz Scoring Game School and some wonderful golf here in the area and at Manitou Passage Golf Club, our golf course located about 8 miles from here.
This is your invitation to register for the Dave Pelz Golf Short Game Scoring School at the beautiful Homestead Resort, America's freshwater resort in Glen Arbor.